Okay, can everyone hear me? Yeah. All right, sounds good. So, like Austin said, I'm Victoria Loren. I'm a senior at Milton High School, and I am here to talk to you today about the R word. If you do not know what the R word is, it is the word retard. All right, here we go. Beauty. A quality present in a thing or person that gives intense pleasure to the mind. Now, what do you guys find beautiful? Maybe models or actors, maybe cars or nature, maybe a girlfriend or boyfriend. It's whatever you guys find beautiful. It's whatever gives you pleasure. Well, I want to show you what I find beautiful. Now here, you see two groups of people. The top is the 2012, the bottom is the 2013 champions for the United States. Now, in order to be a champion, one has to live through or live with a life-threatening illness. And one child is chosen from every state to not only represent their state, but to represent the hospital that helped them. These groups of people get to go to Disney and meet celebrities. They also get to go to the White House and met the president. And I had the privilege of meeting every single person in these photos. But I do want to tell you about two of them specifically. On the top, you see a gentleman in the back literally holding up his leg. His name is Drew Wall. At the age of 11, he decided to have his leg amputated to help stop the spread of his cancer. Unfortunately, in 2012, he did lose his fight to cancer. However, everyone remembers him as a jokester, as someone who's happy and friendly and charitable. Even if they didn't meet him, he made an impact on them. Bottom, the second row on the far left, you see another gentleman crouching down between two boys. I know he's kind of hard to see. His name is Briggs Berry. Briggs had leukemia. Unfortunately, in 2013, he did lose his fight to leukemia. He's remembered as one who really impacted this world. He put everyone else before him and was very charitable as well. Both of these men have been remembered through champions, even in 2015. Bully, an overbearing person who habitually badgers and intimidates smaller or weaker people. Now, I don't know if any of you have been bullied or have been a bully or have seen bullying happen, but it is a real thing. I've been a victim of it. Honestly, I've been bullied for years, except for this year. Whether it be emotionally, verbally, or actually physically. However, the bully isn't always the worst part. The worst part is what people call the bystander effect. I'm sure you all have friends, close-knit people, maybe even best friends, who you stand up for and who stands up for you. However, when you're being bullied, how would you feel if your friends just watched and said nothing? Or if they just walked away? Or if they just kept walking past you like it wasn't actually even happening? Because they were too afraid to say anything. That's happened to me, and you feel completely alone. How can you be there for a friend if they won't be there for you? Retarded babies. No one wants them, so stop having them. I'm sorry, but who has the right to say this? To make this? To post this? You can't tell someone to stop having children. You can't tell someone to stop having retarded children. They don't know. The parents don't know. The doctors don't know until the child is here, living. It's not like the parents chose this or the child wanted to come out this way. It happens. But you can't tell someone to not have a family. Awesome. Now this is Jordan. He's the 2013 champion for Illinois. Now, you see him in these photos smiling. He always has a smile on his face. He has to be one of the happiest kids I know. However, in the top left photo, you do see him with his chest actually cut open. This is him after his second heart surgery. One day, Jordan and his mom were in a restaurant. Jordan can't feed himself, so his mother was, of course, feeding him. A woman walked up to Jordan and his mother and said, "Oh my gosh, this is the cutest boy I've ever seen. How old is he?" Jordan's mom looks up at the woman and says, "He's 4.5." The woman loses her smile, takes a step back, and says, "Oh dear, he's retarded. I'm so sorry." As if his mother didn't already know. As if she had to be sorry and take a step back away from him because he's different. Because at 4.5, he couldn't feed himself. That made her question him. Now, I know I wasn't there, so it is hard to say exactly what was going through the mother's mind. But she did write me. And I want you to hear her words. "I want you to know how proud I am of what you are doing. You have firm beliefs and you're not ashamed to show them. Most young people don't seem to be that way anymore. Your family has certainly been blessed with you. I want you to see these pictures of Jordan. The one I am most proud of is him on his deathbed. I know, sounds crazy, doesn't it? I sat by my baby's side in that hospital from right after his birth until he was 2 months old. I was told he would not live. He just had 2 open heart surgeries, one at a few hours old and another at 2 weeks old. I could look down my baby's chest and see his heart beating through the thin betadine film covering his chest. He laid in a coma for weeks. Then those seizures started. Then the MRI. Then the news that my baby's heart was the least of his problems. He was missing part of his brain, and the rest of the brain was severely damaged. Then I was told he would never walk or talk, and Jordan was severely retarded. Those words cut through me like a knife, Victoria. I took Jordan home at 2 months on oxygen and feeding tubes. I was determined to give this baby everything. He is one of only 9 kids in the world with MPPH syndrome. Over the years, he learned to walk, talk, and eat. He suffers daily seizures, aspiration problems, partially deaf, legally blind, immunocompromised, diabetic, inability to regulate his own body temperature, and yes, severely developmentally disabled, or retarded, if you're one of the few idiots in this world that use that word. Jordan's brain is growing too fast. It will eventually outgrow the skull. He is terminal. He only has a few more years to discover this world and be loved. He should never have to hear that word. I have showed so many people your presentation. What you are doing matters. Kids like Jordan don't have a voice in this mean world. You speak for them. Thank you, Victoria, and God bless you. Jordan only has a few more years to live. He's really young. Why should he have to see the world in his few years as mean? Or people as hurtful? Or bullies? He should never be told he can't do anything, because he was told he couldn't walk. He was told he couldn't talk, and he was told he couldn't eat. Yeah, it took him longer than other people, but he can do all three of those things now. Do you want to be that person to tell him he's retarded and can't, and wipe that smile off his face? Because I don't. I want him to see the world for how it is. Beautiful. And people are kind. Don't ruin it for anyone. Every person deserves the chance to reach his or her full potential. Now, everyone has hopes and dreams and goals. They want to go to college or go in the military, have a family, have a career. They want to do something with their lives. Even if you don't know yet, everyone wants to do something. I know I do. Why can't you? Do what you want to do. Follow your dreams. Because no one's going to stop you. No one should stop you. Now, this boy has Down syndrome, but he's literally lying on top of the world, making it his own, showing everyone that he will reach his full potential. And no one is going to stand in his way. Disability. Physical or mental handicap, especially one that prevents a person from living a full, normal life. Being disabled just means you aren't living a full and normal life because of something physical or mental. However, when someone thinks of disability, they think of the extremas, like this. They think of wheelchairs. They think of someone who's missing a leg or an arm. Maybe someone who's blind or deaf. There are so much more things to disabilities, though. Like, this is Tony. As you can see, his hand is wrapped. Usually his entire body is wrapped. However, when he goes out for pictures, he only wraps his hands and his feet because those are the worst areas. He lives with a rare skin disorder where his skin is literally falling off of him. And he has nubs for his fingers and his toes. He can't help that. But look at where he is. He's in Disney after just meeting the president because he's a 2012 champion. And he's living with this, but he's getting through it. And no one's slowing him down because that smile, it's not gonna go anywhere. Now this is my cousin Isabel. She lives with cerebral palsy. She cannot live on her own and always has to be with my aunt. She was told that she wouldn't be able to walk or speak. However, at the age of 8, she said her first words. And she actually called me. And her first words to me were, "I love you, Victoria." Now that had to be the happiest moment of my life. The medal around her neck is second place for the Special Olympics. She's always placed top, at least top 3 in Special Olympics. And she's only 11 years old. And believe it or not, she was told she couldn't walk, but she's a runner. And she places pretty well for it, even with braces on her legs. People told her she couldn't, and she did. She's not slowing down. Retarded. Characterized by a slowness or limitation in intellectual understanding and awareness, emotional development, academic progress. Now, I want to ask you a question. You don't have to raise your hand, but think about it at least. How many of you used the word retard or retarded? Whether if it was just once, maybe you didn't mean it in a mean way, but you did say it. You have used it. It's come out of your mouth. Thank you for raising your hand. very brave. Now, how many of you would call me a retard? Would walk up to me and say, Victoria, you're retarded. Right now, right to my face. No one? Well, why not? Is it because I look normal? I look just like all of you guys? I'm doing something, I'm not missing a leg or anything? I want to show you something. This is the face of a retard. A disabled retard, actually. I live with life-threatening illnesses. I live with a congenital, intestinal, gestational malrotation. And it is life-threatening. I'm practically suffocating from the inside out. And I'm dying. We don't know when I'm going to or how much longer I have left, but it's true. But I'm doing something. I'm still being me, I'm still following my dreams, and no one's stopping me. I am your Miss Teen Vermont. I did that competition and I won. Do I look like someone who can't? Who won't? Who's too scared? I also live with a heart problem. I have really bad heart palpitations, and I've had a stroke. I can't play sports anymore. I have one more question. Again, you don't have to raise your hand. It's up to you, but think about it. How many of you live with dyslexia, or OCD, or ADD, or ADHD, or anxiety, or depression? Again, thank you for raising your hand. It's very brave of you. If you didn't answer your hand, yet you answered, if you didn't raise your hand, but you answered yes to any of those questions, even just one, I have something to tell you. You are retarded. You are a retard. By definition, I have OCD. I have dyslexia. I have anxiety, and I have severe depression. And I'll admit it. I go to counseling. I need help. Some days are worse than others. I can't do it all alone. But I'm still doing something. And now I saw the look on some of your faces when I called you the R word. Didn't seem like you liked it. How you feel right now is how other people feel when you use that word. You call them that word. It hurts. It's offensive. It's unnecessary. And it's just not true all the time. You all said you would not call me that. But why not? I just showed you that I'm the perfect example. I might look normal, but I'm not. I'm different. That doesn't make me any less than. Doesn't prove that I can't accomplish anything I want to. The same goes for you guys. Even if you do have one of those, or more like me, you're not less than anyone else. You can still do what you want to. I want you guys to know that it takes one person to change the world. It takes a lot more people to make a greater impact, but it just takes one person to start that. Now, this is a quote that I live by. Stand up for what's right and what you believe in, even if you stand alone. Right now, I am literally standing alone. But I'm doing what I feel is right, and this sure is what I believe in. You all have a voice, so use it. don't be afraid. If one person stands up, I assure you a lot of other people will too. And I'm not here today to tell you to stop, to tell you that you're wrong and anything like that. I'm just here to hopefully plant a seed and to let you think about what you're doing or what you're seeing. If someone's being bullied, don't just walk by. And please don't use this word. It is offensive. You never know what one person is going through or what's in their family. You don't know who's listening or who it hurts. But you need to think before you speak. That's all I'm asking, is to just think. One person can change the world. Will you be that one person? Thank you.
Are there any questions for Victoria?
I understand if you don't want to ask in this large group, I will be here after. If you would like to come up to me and say something, or if you have any comments, feel free. Yes.
I'm just wondering why the word has become such a big deal. Because it comes from the French word for delay or slow. And I suppose it could be like a slow learners. I'm not really sure. And then there's the musical term retardando, which means to get slower.
I understand. The reason I'm here is to not just talk about the R word, because people are turning what is actually a medical term, retardation, into a derogatory term. And it's being used now as calling someone a jerk or maybe even a cuss word. And I'm not saying any of those words are what you should be using by any means, but this is definitely not one of them either. Bullying is bullying, no matter what word you use. I'm here to talk about, yes, the R word, because you don't know what's going on around you. And a lot of people have turned this medical term, this musical term, into something much worse than what it is. And that's why I'm here today, not just talk about the word, talk about bullying in general, and how I hope this word isn't dropped at all. Does that help? Any other questions or comments?
We'd also like to thank Victoria's mom is here, and her school principal and teacher, and a classmate, Jack from Milton. And also thank Austin for helping to organize this. And thank you very much, Victoria.
Thank you. Thank you.